There's a special celebration happening in Selma to honor notable and amazing women. Joining us now to tell us all about it is Verdell Dawson and Georgette Norman. Ladies, thanks so much for joining us here on Alabama Live. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Verdell, this is a combination of women. It's about the voting rights movement and about a special project as well. Tell us about that project.
When we think about the voting rights movement, most of the time we think about the men, but there were many women who were involved, and so we wanted to highlight the ones that are still here with us, and as well as they are torchbearers, persons, women who became the first or the second because of what the women of the voting rights movement did, and that's the purpose of this project.
Georgette, why is it important for us to name these women, to recognize these women, and then to honor them?
It's extremely important. Most times women don't get recognized. It's always, and I think a lot of that's historic in terms that they had opportunities as many of the men did not have, and so it's like trying to push men forward. But I think this is really important because these are women who did out of love. It's not just about voting, but it's about doing. We have librarians. We have the woman that was at the hospital when they brought
Jimmy Lee Jackson
to Samaritan Hospital. And to talk to her, to hear her story and stuff like that. And these names never get called. And so the whole idea is giving life to a person's body of work, that they were doing it even before that time, and then they continued. And librarians, you know, the first, like doctors, you know, superintendents, to look at when women take the lead, the kinds of things that happen. We depend on them all the time, but we don't always see them in the lead. And even though many of their jobs weren't in the lead, the women put themselves in the lead.
Verdell, this is also, again, a part of a history project, telling our oral history, telling our stories. Why is it important to tell those stories to the younger generation, to the kids in schools right now?
Well, it is important because the younger generation do not know the good old days, and that is one of the reasons why we wanted to have the Oral History Project. It humanizes history. It is personal, and to have the women to tell their experiences as they were growing up. And it gives a good light on what used to be, and hopefully it will inspire the young people to want to create what used to be in this time.
And what these young people don't know, a lot of them don't realize, the ones in schools right now, these are their grandmothers, these are their great aunts, these are their cousins. I mean, these are kids who live in Alabama. These are people related to them, most of them in some shape or form, and they don't even realize the greatness that they have in them.
That's right.
I think one of the things that's really important about this is when you look at these women and look at, they were young at that time, and they looked at the world they wanted to see, and they acted on that. And I think that one thing that's a message for young people is to say, you know, what's the world I want to see? And then what is my role in making myself see it, but as well as everybody else around me?
Yes, a lot of these women were, what, 18, 19, 20 years old.
Or younger.
Or younger.
Yes, and many of them saw their parents. We have persons whose parents were teachers, and they participated in the Teachers' March. We have persons whose families had businesses, and they saw their parents go to work every day, or, you know, regardless of where it was. And they just looked at that and thought that, well, this is the way it should be. And so they took one step at a time.
Just a reminder that those kids and grandkids really are watching, even if it doesn't seem like they're watching. For people who want to come out, learn more about these women, recognize these women, this is a free event. Give them the date, time, and location that they'd like to attend.
We will be at Earl Goodwin Theater at Wallace Community College, Selma, on Saturday at 1:00 p.m. The doors will open at 12:30. So come out, and this is for not only the women, this is for the men too.
For the community.
Because the entire community, we want the children, the men, the women, to come and see the people who are walking around among them every day, and you don't even know that they have done some great things.
Living history right here
Living
in our
history,
communities.
yes.
Ladies, thank y'all so much for joining us here on Alabama Live. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.